In this lesson today, we're going to look at the price per serving, so this column, for natural and regular peanut butters. And this is for problem 1.3. And in 1.3 it says to calculate a 5-number summary for this set. So right here, these numbers right here down to here, so these are all natural peanut butter prices, and then the ones below that, which I'll do in a different color so I don't mix them up. These ones down here are for regular peanut butter. So we have regular peanut butter prices and we have natural peanut butter prices. So we're going to start with the regular or the natural peanut butter prices. And in order to do a 5-number summary for this, we need to take this list of numbers in the price per serving and we need to put them in order. So make an ordered list from least to greatest. So there's a lot of ways to do that. One way is just to start looking for numbers. Look for the smallest number in the set, which it looks like is 21. And then there's another 21. And so you need to keep a list. You actually need to make a list. And I've actually already done that. Kind of worked ahead a little bit on this problem. So I took this list here, these numbers, and I put them in order on this piece of paper from least, the 21. There's a 21. And then another 21. So there's the two 21s. The biggest number on the list you can see is a 34. There's a 32 there. There's another 32 there. So you can see that I have all these numbers in order on my list. Now they need to be in order because in order to find a 5-number summary, the 5 things you're looking for are the minimum. So that's this one right here. It's already there. It's not hard to find. It's the smallest number in the data set. And then the other one that's easy is the maximum. It's the biggest number. So we have our minimum and maximum. And then what we want to do with the data set is we want it to divide it in half or find the middle number. And so one of the ways to do that is to kind of sort of check off at each end. So there's one on that end and there's one on that end. So we're kind of working to the middle. We're trying to find the middle number in the set. And then one on this side and one on this side. So start at the outside edge here and here and here and here. So now I have 4 on each side, so I'm working toward the middle. And here and here. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. And now I have 2 left here in the middle, and this is pretty simple. So that means the middle is right there between those two, and since they're both the same number, the very middle of that set, that number 26 is what we call the median. So it's the middle number in the data set, and in this case there is no middle number because there's an even number in the data set. And so there's 7 numbers on each side of the middle, or median. And so now we actually have 3 of the 5 numbers that we want in the 5-number summary. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to find the middle of the lower half and the middle of the upper half. So let's start with the middle of the lower half, and we can actually kind of use the same system. I'm actually doing another set of checks. So there and there. So I'm starting here and I'm going to work in, and here and here. So I have 2 on each side, now 3 on each side, and now this right here is the middle of the bottom half, and the name of that is the lower quartile, or sometimes called the first quartile. So it's the middle of the bottom half. And really what we're doing is dividing the data into 4 quarters. So here's a quarter, and then here's another quarter. This could sometimes be called like the second quartile or second quarter, where we have 1/4 of the data here and another 1/4 of the data here. And now we're going to do the same thing with the upper half. We're going to find the middle of the upper half. So use the same idea. If I take one off of each end, and another one off of each end, and another one off of each end, then I'm left with right here, that number right there, 32, is in the middle, 3 on each side. And so that number is called the upper quartile. And so now I actually have the 5-number summary: 21, 26, 26, 32, and 34 are the 5 numbers represented with the minimum, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, and maximum. And the purpose of finding those 5 numbers is so that you can make something called a box and whisker plot. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. So what I did, reviewing what I did, is I put the numbers in order from least to greatest. I found the bottom number, the top number, so minimum, maximum. I found the middle, called the median. I found the middle of the top, called the upper quartile, the middle of the bottom half, called the lower quartile, and those become my 5 numbers for a 5-number summary. And again, that becomes important because I can use that, zoom out here a little bit so you can see all of this, to make what's called a box and whisker plot. So I have those 5 numbers, and I'm actually going to plot them on a number line. So I'm going to use this chart that I have made up, and these are the prices, or the price per serving for natural peanut butter. So this is my box and whisker plot for that. And so my minimum was 21, the lower quartile 26, the median 26. I'm just taking these numbers from what I found right here. The upper quartile 32, and the maximum 34. And we're not going to talk about IQR or any of this at the moment, but that will become important later. And so what I can do now is I can take these numbers and put them right on this number line. So I'm going to make a line where the 21 is. There's the minimum. That's that number there, right above the 21. And then 26 right here. And they're actually, the lower quartile and the median are actually the same number. And you can kind of see in the data set there's a lot of 26s. There's enough 26s to go actually from the lower quartile all the way to the median, and a little bit more. So lots of 26s, so that's why there's actually a quarter of the data are 26s. So there's a lot of data there, so I'm actually going to thicken that line up to show that the lower quartile and the median are at the same spot. And then the upper quartile at 32, and then the maximum at 34. And so this makes what's called a box and whisker plot, because I'm going to make a box right here that connects the lower quartile to the upper quartile and includes the median. And then I'm going to put a little whisker in right there like that. And so you have this box and whisker. And again, the center box, really, if you think about it, goes from the lower quartile to the upper quartile and includes the median. So we really literally put a box around this part of the data. So you could think of it like if I were to do this, a box like that, and a whisker connecting it to the ends. So we have this box around this part of the data, 50% of the data right in here, because there's a 1/4 of the data in each section, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, and 1/4. So really the idea of quartiles is dividing the data up into 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that we can kind of see where the numbers fall. And we get this box and whisker plot, just like this. So we're going to do this again, one more time. Only this time we're going to do it with the regular peanut butters. And again, these numbers have to be put in order from least to greatest for the regular peanut butter prices in order to do this. And so once again, I've kind of pre-done that. So here's my list. Zoom in on it a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. So I had to do it a little bit smaller. There's more of them. There's 23 numbers in that list. And so once again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find those 5 numbers. And so the easy ones, of course, are the minimum and the maximum. So the ones on either end. And now we're going to find the middle. And so I can kind of use this idea of kind of checking off. So that one and that one. So 1, 2 on each side, 3 on each side, 4 on each side, 5 on each side, 6 on each side, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 on each side, and there's 1 left in the middle. So there's actually an odd number of numbers here. There's actually 23 numbers. 11 and 11 is 22, and the 1 left in the middle, this 1 left in the middle, is the median. So we have a minimum, a median, and a maximum. And now we need to find the middle of the bottom and the middle of the top. Now the one thing that happens when you have a median that is a number instead of between numbers, see, like for instance in this one, the median wasn't actually a number. It was between 2 numbers. It happens to be 26, but the median is really between the two 26s, so we just call it 26. In the case of this one, the median is actually a number. And so when we start counting to the middle on either side, we're going to exclude, like this doesn't exist. So we're not going to count that middle space. So when I start counting in from here, I'm actually going to start again like I did before. So 1 there, 1 there, not counting the median, 1 here. So now I have 2 on each side, 3 on each side, 4 on each side, 5 on each side. And so what happens here with 5 on each side, I actually have a space there. And so that makes 14. This becomes the lower quartile. And so I'm getting close. I just need one more number. And so again, I'm going to exclude the median, and I'm going to work to the middle of the upper half. So 1 on each side, 2 on each side, 3 on each side, 4, 5 on each side. So I have 5 and 5, and again I'm left with a number in the middle, and that number is 21. So here and here, let's go ahead and do that one. So that number there is my upper quartile. So if I'm talking about a 5-number summary for this data, the minimum being 9, the lower quartile 14, the median 17, the upper quartile 21, and the maximum 23. So those are my 5 numbers: minimum, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, and the maximum. 5-number summary for the price for regular peanut butters. And so when I'm asked questions about finding the 5-number summary, this is what I have to do. I have to find the right numbers. I have to put them in order from least to greatest. Put them in order from least to greatest. Find the top, the bottom, top and the bottom, the middle of the bottom, the middle of the top, and those all have names, and it gives me these 5 numbers. And really the purpose of that, again, is so that I can make one of these. So I'm going to make a second one, and this is the price per serving. for regular peanut butters. Regular peanut butter. I'll go ahead and write butter on the end of this one here too. There we go. And so we have those 5 numbers: the minimum, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum. And again, I can put those on this number line: 9, 14, 17, 21, and 23. And the 3 in the middle become the box, and then I connect them to the end with a whisker. Box and whisker. Now, the purpose of this is that then I can compare the price of the natural peanut butters to the price of the regular peanut butters. And the graph, box and whisker graph, gives me a pretty clear indication that these natural peanut butters are more expensive per serving than the regular peanut butters. Now, you probably could have just looked at the numbers and figured that out, but the idea with a box and whisker plot is that it's very clear. 50% of the data, remember, is in here, because what we're doing to the data when we do this is we're dividing it into quarters. There's 1/4 of the numbers there. There's another 1/4 here. See how they're all equal in size? 1/4 here, and another 1/4 of the data here. So there's 1/4 of the data in each of those parts. So dividing the data into quartiles, it takes 5 numbers to do that. You can think of it as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So like the 0, and then the first quarter, the second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. And so we're dividing the numbers up into those quartiles and then making these charts with it. Now, if you look in the book on page 14, you can see sort of what they have for a box and whisker plot. And part of the question is, which of these graphs goes with regular peanut butter and which of them goes with natural peanut butter? And now you can see, if you can compare them to the ones that I just did on my chart here, we can see them all at the same time. And you can kind of see the same thing, that this one has the darken where the lower quartile and the median are in the same spot. And so that means that corresponds with this upper one. So that has to be the box and whisker plot for the natural peanut butter prices. And then this one matches our one right here. And so that has to be the box and whisker plot for the regular peanut butters. And so that's the sort of process you have to go through when it comes to finding the 5-number summary for box and whisker plots and for finding a set of data. In another lesson, we're going to talk about IQR and outliers, and that will be coming in another lesson. So if you're still trying to figure out what IQR and all of that is, check back for another lesson on that. And so that's the end of this one, and that should help you with calculating 5-number summaries and box and whisker plots.